Hey, good morning, good afternoon, Center for Spiritual Living Palm Desert and friends all over the world. It's your friend, Reverend Charles Hall, and Life on Love is on the road. I don't know if you can tell from the bucket seats, but I am coming to you live from the cab. Love is literally on the road today. And it's good. I want you to know that I'm not driving. I'm actually parked. So just to be clear, this is the PSA. Don't drive and video. I am actually parked. I am up in Washington, having some good little working vacation and enjoying it. And it's so beautiful in today's technology, in the way that we can still continue to join. That, my buddy's truck has Wi-Fi. I'm out here in the middle of nowhere, and it's working out really wonderfully. So I love that blessing that we have to be able to join. There's such a powerful blessing in joining together physically, and I know we all miss that. And let us continue to be aware of the powerful blessing in being able to join virtually as well, and the significance of that we can still feel each other, be blessed by each other, communicate with each other, sit down and have a cup of tea or a coffee or a soda or a beer or wine with each other, and still do this, and still allow me to be with you, our beloved community, wherever you are. I hope today that you are feeling some goodness about life, some joy, or even more so, that your cup is full and runneth over, as Scripture would say. So welcome, everybody. As usual, everyone, any comments, any questions, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about Life on Love style, and also invite us into a practice. Last week we looked at a number of aspects of life. If you checked out the show at all, the program at all last Friday, anytime during this last week, we explored a number of different areas in life, and an exercise to move from old ideas, old paradigms, non-life-giving ideas about our lives, to new agreements that are life-giving. So I just want to kind of build on, and encourage you, if you want to make a comment or have a question. So he's a producer booth, absolutely will help us connect, get you connected with all the goodness. So it's really great to be with all of you. My heart is full. Share the
Hey, Reverend Charles, I'm just going to jump in here for just a second. Your internet is a little spotty.
Sharing some time, closest people in my life, while still our Living Palm Desert community, which is just a one people, which but surely becoming people that are I came up here.
Hey, Reverend Charles. Reverend Charles, your
Jeff.
Yeah, your internet is a little spotty there.
There's right on the water. Are beautiful nature's poetry. Not help but in that to like a few days. It's about nature for when we want to simplify life and the craziness of where we can get in our head and the complications that life can bring and the stresses and anxieties, that if we can take a moment to remember to look to nature somehow, just look to the birds. I know in the valley we can look, Coachella Valley, look to the mountains and just consider the beingness, or consider a time when you've been out in natural settings, the woods or by the ocean, and just the poetry of the simplicity of nature simply being without complicating it. And obviously, of human beings, we have emotions and feelings and relationships and all of these types of things, and I understand that totally. But we also have the capacity to choose our life. We also have the capacity to stop and remember, to just reflect on the simplicity of nature just being, and how it regenerates itself, how it is just so simple. So we took a couple hikes up and through the woods, and one of the most beautiful thing about being out there with my buddy is that we actually have meals where we harvest right from nature, that it's actually as fresh and healthy as food can possibly get. So what we do is we go up into there's a specific word for it, I'm not sure, but he's a mushroom guy. He knows and continues to learn more about mushrooms, the kind that you eat for a meal, not the kind that take you to other worlds. So we go up and we go quote unquote mushroom hunting, and for years we made fun of him because the mushrooms aren't exactly running from us. They're not trying to not be seen. But they are down on the floor of the forest. They're down on the forest floor. So you do have to hunt for them a little bit because they could be under some foliage, behind ferns, around salal and just other things that are down on the ground. So you do have to hunt for them a little bit. And so we harvest these mushrooms. The ones that we harvested this time are called chanterelles. So, for many miles walk through the woods, and the beautiful part is it too that you have to get off the path. And so spiritual metaphor sums well, I don't know what is. Sometimes we have to get off the beaten, off the trail, what's outside.
Hey, we apologize for the cutting out there. He is out over there in Eastern Washington, and as I understand it, Eastern Washington, there's a lot of open spaces, and sometimes we don't have the internet connection that we would like to have. So I'm going to I'm going to try to be Ed off the couch. If you've never seen that before, sometimes I would be Ed for Reverend Charles when we first started this, and kind of like Ed McMahon and Johnny Carson. So not that I can certainly be like Ed McMahon, but just to jump in. We welcome you to share any questions or comments. The show is called Life on Love. And one of the things, as we're just waiting for Charles to kind of come back on, is imagine your life, if you would, everything you do, everything you think before it comes out of your mouth, you're filtering it through that, hey, what would love do? Now, it sounds kind of corny, but I've done this a lot through my life, and I would say, sometimes it says we get a mentor in our life, and the mentor might be somebody who is no longer with us. And sometimes we might say, ironically, what would Ernest Holmes do? And what's crazy about that is when you do that, you start to embody some of that thought process, and you go through it a little bit differently. So I challenge you to go out there and say, hey, if before I spoke, before I acted or reacted, I thought, let me run this through a filter of love. How would love roll this off my tongue? How would love take this out of my mind into the world? And see if that doesn't change things from now and then. The other thing I was thinking about, and I just started this again now, hey, I'm just totally winging it. Oh, there's Reverend Charles. You may have to wait for that totally winging it. Reverend Charles, are you there? He is not there. But something I started doing, I journal every day. If you've seen me here before, a few months ago I was on the show and I talked about how important journaling was for me. And what I started doing, many times we write things down, or I write things down, I will write things down of what I wish I would have done or how I can be better. And I started something maybe about 2 weeks ago. And it just came to me in the morning. I tend to get up early, and I wrote down, and I started writing down the things to celebrate. And it started my day. What should I celebrate? What did I accomplish yesterday? Who did I spend some time with? What affirmative prayer did I write yesterday? And I'll tell you what, it seems to me in the last 2 weeks, it changed the course of every one of my days. Oh, here he is. He's back. All right, I'm going to sign out.
I'm
back.
Are
you there, Reverend Charles?
I'm here. Can you see me and hear me?
I don't hear you.
Totally here.
There he is. He's back again. All right, so
you have me?
I'm diving out.
How long have you been? How long? What? At what point did I cut off, Jeff?
About 18 seconds in.
Please no.
Yeah, you can kind of tell us a little bit about what happened, and I kind of let them know you're in Eastern Washington, and things are a little sparse out in Eastern Washington. So maybe take us through that.
Where did I actually cut off, though? Was it?
Yeah, that was pretty much. It was there was a lot of choppiness, and even in my ability to speak Japanese, I couldn't pick up on what you were saying.
Dang it. Okay, well, how's the connection now? I feel like it's pretty strong.
Connection's pretty good there. So I'm gonna dive out, but I'll be back. I'll be over on the couch. Ed and I will be on the couch.
All right. Thanks, Jeff, for diving in, pal.
Yes, sir.
All right. Apologies, everybody. Here I am. If I cut off just at the beginning, I'll just do a quick summary. So the first few days that I was on this working vacation, I was over on the Hood Canal and with my friend. And one of the beauties about being over there on the Hood Canal is that we get to harvest our food, that it's as close to natural and healthy food as possible. So one of the things we do is go up into the woods and go mushroom hunting and hunt for mushrooms. And at this point, we got chanterelles. And then so we harvest these chanterelles, bring them back to the cabin, go down to the beach and harvest clams and oysters. And then you just, for the clams, the oysters are everywhere. And for the clams, you just kind of get just down underneath the beach and get a bucket of clams. So we've got oysters and clams and mushrooms, and we go in and we make this feast. Now talk about life on love. Now I want to talk about the mushroom part for just a minute. And again, I'm saying, I'm just going through all this again. I didn't know that I'd cut off so early on in the program here. But you have to get off the beaten path in order to go find these mushrooms. You can't walk the normal life. You can't walk the normal path, the beaten path, and find what we're looking for. And sometimes that's a beautiful metaphor for life, that if we're just kind of walking through the rut, the grooved path that we've already grooved, oftentimes we can't find that sweetness that we're looking for, that new thing, that nourishment, that spiritual meal, that we need to get off the beaten path, off the roadway, off of what's already been treaded, and explore and actually be willing to be a little bit uncomfortable, not knowing where you're going, have a general sense of where the beaten path is, but get off the beaten path and go find that nugget of goodness. And that's just about getting ourselves out of a current paradigm, a paradigm, that which is known, and welcoming ourselves into a new idea, a new paradigm, and the uncomfortableness of that, but knowing that once we find those mushrooms, we're going to be nourished and have an extraordinary meal, and it's going to be lovely. So that was the first couple of days here is just being in nature, and just the blessing of being out in nature. And last week I talked a little bit about, or in a dial-in idea I did a couple of days ago, about the importance of when life seems really complicated and we're anxious and we're caught up, the importance of looking to nature. the importance of just simplifying everything, looking to nature, looking to, the trees and their simplicity, looking at the wind, looking at the clouds, and looking at how nature regenerates itself, how, the wind blows and it clears the air out, and just all of these things that nature does in just the simplest form. So that's an invitation for each one of us. And again, I was reacquainted with that, certainly with the busyness of the ministry and how many programs we have going on and all the things that we're up to, the importance of simplifying. And there's a great beauty and a great power in simplifying, slowing everything down, taking that breath. We do have emotions. We do have feelings. We can be confused sometimes, which can bring some anxiety, which brings some, feelings of loss. As a human being, we have those experiences, but we also have the capacity to choose our life. We also have the capacity to stop, slow down, and remember to choose your life today. To actually look to nature in the Coachella Valley, look to the mountains and just be inspired by them in a moment. Look to the trees, look to the birds flying and be inspired by them for a moment. Yesterday, we were outside and there were hundreds of birds migrating in their V patterns, and talking to each other. And that truly is for me, the definition of awesome. That I was filled with awe, filled with love. Life on Love Fridays, Life on Love, filled with love, looking at these birds migrating and the purposefulness of it, the simplicity of it, and the poetry of it, the majesty of it. Hundreds of them in formation, doing their thing. So I'm in love right now with being with the people I love most in my life, which more and more are people that are, that are our community at Center for Spiritual Living Palm Desert, as well as the family that I have here in Washington and the friends that I've had for so many years that I love with all my heart. And so I'm just really feeling deeply reconnected right now with the simplicity and the beauty of nature and the goodness of what's all around us, and how we can be even more inspired into love, into joy, into goodness when we simplify, slow things down, remember in any moment to stop and pause and reflect on the blessings that are in our life right now, the beautiful relationships that we have, the income that is coming in, the health that we do experience, the simplicity of that. So I'm particularly connected with that right now in some great ways, which actually brings me into the kind of, I guess, the lesson portion of what I want to offer you today. And that is the affirmative movement of our mind and our heart, the affirmative movement of our emotion, our feeling, and our thinking. What we call it in Centers for Spiritual Living is affirmative prayer. But it doesn't have to be sitting down and doing a methodical 5-step affirmative prayer, the inside jargon, spiritual mind treatment. A prayer is a movement of what we call consciousness. A prayer is simply the intentional movement of your thinking in the affirmative direction, and tying our head with our heart and choosing affirmatively, choosing that which is life-giving, moving our attention from the confusion, from the scarcity, from the experience of feeling, the feeling or the anxiety that comes with the constant kind of hamster wheel of thinking from being shut in from COVID, to actually move ourselves in an affirmative way toward the blessings that we are experiencing in life. And what we know about and that is deeply intertwined with gratitude. And what we know about gratitude, what I know about gratitude, is it has mass and it has gravitational pull. So as we're moving our mind and our heart in the direction of that which is life-giving and affirmative, we automatically feel gratitude in the midst of that. And that then automatically draws unto us more of that which is life-giving. It is a formula. It is an equation, but we can do it all the time. And we can do it all the time, not just in a quote unquote spiritual setting, not just in some place that we might say, oh, the vortex is more powerful here. Whatever your relationship with that is. And I'm not poo-pooing it. I'm simply saying it can be done anywhere and everywhere, to and for the individual who's willing to simply stop, take a deep breath, and turn our attention from, if we have our thinking, or if we're some way in relationship with lack, or a place in our body that is feeling unhealthy or is having the experience of pain or whatever it might be, from the relationship, the challenges in the relationship that aren't working, move our thinking, an affirmative movement of our thinking and of our feeling tone, of our feeling capacities, to what we do have. So if there's a challenge in a particular relationship in your life, we can move our attention to relationships that are life-giving. And within that, as we do move our attention, our affirmative prayer, move our attention in a life-giving and affirmative manner, we begin to see that the seeds are planted, our thinking opens up, our heart opens up, perhaps to what solution exists for the relationship where there's a challenge. Because now we're looking at it from a standpoint of solution. Now we're looking at it from a standpoint of possibility. Now we're viewing life through the lens of that which is affirmative. Life-giving is actually the more I prefer to say that, a life-giving movement of our thought and our heart in the direction of what we do have, the goodness that is in our lives. This is a life on love. Life on love. Jeff, I want to bring you in here right now. I know you were sharing some things earlier, and if you were rolling, I don't want you to get fully cut off here. But is anything we're saying have anything to do with what I'm saying?
Well, I was just doing my thing and I was winging it. I'd found a ball in the rough and I got it airborne. So
that's what we've got to do sometimes, right? Yeah.
Yeah. That's
so. Have you noticed times in your life, Jeff, where you maybe been in a funk or experiencing a challenge? You're like, well, let me put the brakes on. Let me take a deep breath and actually consider the good that's in my life right now. What is life-giving, and how that can transform it can turn a day of funk or a day of feeling lost or bewildered or angry or upset into a moment of it when we can realize that we have choice and dominion over our mind.
Well, that really does tie into what we were talking about, or what I was kind of talking about a little bit is I started writing. I continue to write, but I started journaling a little differently when I start my journaling process now, and I've done it for like the last couple of weeks. Is I started writing down, and again, it just came to me, is start out with celebrating what has happened in my life. And many times I think for many of us, I can't speak for everybody, but let's say for myself, is I felt like that was being very egotistical and self-centered, and yet there's so much negative in the world, and we are all armchair quarterbacks now, and it's easy for us to comment and say, well, we should have done something differently. We do need that solace. We need that cone of silence over us for just a moment. And what that's done for me, Reverend Charles, is all of a sudden it resets what's happening for my day.
Yes.
Hey, I did achieve a lot yesterday and I feel good about it. Did I get everything done that I wanted to get done? It doesn't matter. I just know that these things I did achieve and I did it at my best. So yeah, it's made a difference.
Yep. Absolutely. And that ties into what I was talking about with simplicity as well, that when we can simplify things, it's like remembering to take that deep breath. And there's such simplicity in that deep breath, and it's a reset moment. And so, the affirmative movement of mind and heart is a simple activity. It actually is a simple activity. It's something we have to remember to do and to keep resetting over and over again.
Yeah, and I think with that, if I can hit you right on that, I think it is like one of those things where every second of every moment, we have an opportunity to hit the reset button.
Yep.
And I know in your show, we were talking about the announcements, and it truly is, gang, like saying life is like a chalkboard and there's some stuff written on there. And at any point, I just happen to have an eraser here. You can wipe it off and start anew. And it is pretty amazing. And you can decide to use different colored chalk. You don't have to do white.
Yep.
You can step out of bounds. And I think at the end of the day, Reverend Charles, and again, I hope this doesn't sound too selfish or egotistical, the only person you have to be is the best you.
That's right. Well, that goes to the point where the only relationship that we ever have is the one with ourselves. Everything is a projection out from that. So it's this wonderful feedback too, of where do I need to move my attention in an affirmative direction, in a life-giving direction? Where do I need to erase from the chalkboard? Or if you're working with, a piece of paper, rip that page out of your life's journal and go burn it for those things that maybe feel a little more not so temporary, that feel a little more stuck in there. Do the work inside to rip it out, burn it, and then keep moving in that affirmative direction.
Yeah, I think it's easy for all of us, because we see so much of it on the social media platforms, that Reverend Charles is now whatever, all the elevated status that people have. And I think it's easy for us to judge ourselves that, hey, all these people that look like me, or I think I'm just as qualified as them, they have all of this and I only have this. And yet I heard a very sobering fact that now a lot of these people that were influencers out there, and an influencer basically is somebody said, hey, I have a lot of people that are ideal to your brand and I'll promote you to my people. And now we see a lot of these influencers actually going out and purchasing high-end bags that are empty to still keep up the appearance. And to me, that's an empty soul that says, that's not living your best you. There are those reset moments for them. And, I pray for them that they see that, and that there's so much this world has for us and for us to get from them. And it's not in a Hermes bag.
I don't even know what that is.
Let me get one here. No, I don't have one.
Yeah. Well, and the Hermes bag can be a blessing as long as we have some fulfillment in our soul.
Yeah.
That it's not, again, going back to the Beckwith line, that it's not fulfillment, that it's fulfillment, that we're experiencing, that our joy is from a cup that's running over. Over.
Yeah, I just have to comment here. Eager Guest said, hey, you guys are the Ed and Johnny of the spiritual world. I love that.
That's great. Jeff makes it a lot of easy makes it very easy to play and be creative and have some fun. So it's Jeff's a big engine and a big engine that's helping make this puppy go. So
I thank you. Sometimes it's nice just to be on the receiving end, there's a puncher and a counter puncher. I mentioned sometimes, and sometimes it's fun to just be the counter puncher because you have such great content. And then I just get to kind of add little bits there. It's like I'm the guy that gets to put the garnish on the phenomenal steak you just made. So thank you.
Right on. Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So yeah, gang. So these are my two takeaways for you. And Jeff, if you've had any other points to hype this or underscore, please do. You can see how the movement of the sun is on my face too. You know, the clouds were there when we first started. Now there's that one side of my face that's lighting up. Which side is it? Over here. So these are my two takeaways for us today, family. Is one, I encourage you to, as much as you possibly can, simplify your inner life. And whatever mechanisms you can use to assist you with that, a note on the bathroom mirror, a note on the inside of your front door when you're walking out. Remember to breathe. Remember to stop. Remember to pause. If things feel inside of you like they're spinning out of control, Charles, this is the sign. Charles, remember to pause today. Simplify your inner life. And when we've simplified our inner life, it's much easier to move for that conscious movement of our consciousness in an affirmative direction to that which we have. Actually, to celebrate our good, as Jeff mentioned. You know, you all know that I'm a golf geek. You know, when a putt is made, a big putt is made in a big situation, that golfer's like, they go crazy. You know, it's like, yeah. Unless you're Dustin Johnson. Sometimes I wonder if that guy's even got a heartbeat. He doesn't celebrate anything. Pulse.
No pulse.
But no, that's what we do in life. When we've done something life-giving, when we've achieved something, that we celebrate it. And in that celebration, it anchors something in our soul, that feeling tone. So even in simplifying our inner life is to remember, Jeff, to celebrate that those victories, to celebrate that those moments of beauty and goodness, and when we've achieved something or met a goal, to celebrate those things. And the times when it doesn't seem like it's going our way, or we're hemmed up somehow, or we do experience anxiety or confusion, is to just remember to stop and pause and take that deep breath. And I'm talking about the breath that you feel like way down in your gut. You know, not just, okay, let's take a deep breath. No. The one that goes way down into your gut, that takes 8, 9, 10 seconds to fill all the way up, if your lungs have those capacity. And then the holding it for just a moment in that intense moment, and then 8, 9, 10 seconds to let the whole thing go. That's a reset moment. And then it becomes a lot easier to have that life-giving movement of your thought, that life-giving movement of your heart, to simplify, to look to the beautiful things that are in your life, to anchor those, to celebrate those moments of beauty and joy and goodness, and continue to harvest the blessing and the beauty that lives within those moments, that we can sprinkle those seeds, that we can plant those seeds in the other areas of our life where we are experiencing a challenge. So in this time, we're still here, we're living, we are challenged, we need to get creative like we haven't before, solution-oriented like we haven't before. Let's be about it. Vigorously and rigorously, but in a poetic way, in a simple way. Next time you take a bite of food, close your eyes and experience the food in your mouth. Taste it. Next time you're really thirsty and you have a drink of water, water, nectar of the gods, just enjoy that moment of having your thirst quenched. The simple things. Life on love. You are an emitter. It's been called a broadcast station, but you have this field around you everywhere. Be in love. Whenever you go into a situation, Be that affirmative, life-giving, loving presence. Whenever you go into a building or have an interaction with somebody, generate. Be a generative spirit, a generative soul. Be a soul on love. Be a life on love. That's my offering to you today. Beautiful community. I'm so grateful to be with you. Apologize earlier for the tough connection. I'm glad we still got to experience our time together here. We continue to be so grateful for your financial contributions to Center for Spiritual Living Palm Desert. You can do that through our website, cslpalmdesert.org. You can call into the office. Please visit our website. And I know Jeff's probably got all the information up here as well as far as how you can contribute. If you go to our website, cslpalmdesert.org, you'll find all the ways that you can contribute. We want to make it very easy for you. You can text in your gift, but your financial gift continues to allow us to bring you the ministry that has been feeding the Coachella Valley and beyond for over 47 years now. And we're committed to it being 47 more and 47 more and 47 more as we continue to cultivate a life on love together. Thank you, Jeff, and the Swing Point Media producers booth. I love working with you. You make this look so seamless and beautiful and easy. And I know behind the scenes it's not. So we appreciate you and your company very much, and appreciate all of you out there. And I know that your life is more on love today than it was yesterday, more on love today than it was even this morning when you woke up. That we're fired up, we're pumped up. It's Friday, which really doesn't matter because it could be Tuesday and we're going to be pumped up too, living that life on love. So we've got another meditation coming to you tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock that will be in your inbox. And then, of course, early Sunday morning, another magnificent Sunday service. Dr. Joe will share more of his insight, wisdom, and good words with us. And then into next week, we roll, starting Monday with Back to Basics with Dr. Joe, Monday at 10. I'm loving you all. I'm willing to accept your love, simplify your life, move your attention in a life-giving direction today and every day, and live a life on love. We're out of here.